So, in light of the recent release of Dragon Ball Z Final Stand Remastered, I've decided to make this video because of just how, at least in my opinion, abysmal it is. What was a game beloved by the community several years ago at this point has been remastered into this amalgamation of nostalgia and horrible development decisions. So, in light of this, I'll be bringing a better game, a game that has come out relatively long time ago and just hasn't really gained the traction that it deserves based on the quality of the content that's put out. Everything from effects to animations to the combat system in general. It is all just better than what Final Stand was and what it is now to this day after the remaster. Even looking past the effects, animations, the visuals of the game, the core progression is still just simply better here. Whereas in Final Stand Remastered, not only is there not enough content to progress, but when doing the content there is, it is a monotonous loop of doing the same thing over and over again. Nothing new has been added to disrupt the loop that already was. Only now they have taken that loop, spread it out, and now there's just not enough to do and not enough reward for doing it all. Now, looking at Final Stand's progression compared to Dragon Ball Final, Final has several different game modes, or rather mini games within the game, all of which help you progress. All of them are great. All of them can be boosted using the weights that you can purchase in the game for Zenny, which you get plenty of just by progressing normally, doing recommended quests and fighting mentors. It feels so much better. No matter what you're doing, there's something different that you could be doing and get good results out of. It's just simply not the case with Final Stand Remastered. Enough being critical of Dragon Ball Final Stand Remastered, let's get into the actual game Dragon Ball Final that we're here to be talking about. Just here, you can see the menu screen, and I'll be going into customization just to show you some of the features that they have there. Just here alone, there's plenty to talk about. Some people may find that there's less customization here to be had than there is with Dragon Ball Final Stand Remastered, but personally, I think just generally they look better. The options that you have, it looks better, it fits better into the Roblox feel. And that goes hand in hand with it being R6 over R15, but that's all just opinion based. Here you have races, Saiyans, humans, Namekians, Arcosians, Jiren's race, and Majin's. More to be added. They used to have androids, but they took them out. But each race has their own passives that have different benefits in-game. After a brief loading screen, you're dropped into whichever spawn that you have set. At first, you start on the other side of the map from where I'm located, but here you spawn in basically at the Capsule Corp building, where there's both Trunks, who you can talk to, who has a history game mode. History goes through different what-ifs, gauntlets, which are challenge fights, such as like not being able to transform or use evasives, and just the story mode, pretty much going through the actual story of Dragon Ball and fighting as the characters. These all give you rewards that you keep. Dragon Stones, which can use to be increase your stats overall, moves, basically anything you could need. Gauntlets give heavy weights, which are 500,000 Zenny, which is quite a lot, and you get 2 just for beating the first one, and it's not all that hard. Additional to that, you have the Gravity Chamber, which has its own little minigame as well, where you either do a sequence of left and right clicks, or the WSA and D keys, which give you both strength and defense simultaneously, while whittling your health down over time. Here you see me scrolling through the skills menu. You have key moves, physical moves, and boost moves. Boost moves are basically like Rise to Action from Xenoverse 2. If you've played it, you get some stamina back using Rise to Action. There's a custom one, Body Don't Fail Me Now, which gives you all your stamina back, as well as some damage boost if you're activating Kaioken. You have your key moves, which are obviously your Gallic Guns and your Final Flashes, Kamehamehas, anything you could think of, it's in there. You can also see it says drops from Frieza Boss, drop from Goku Black. Some are learned from mentors, learned from Android 21, learned from Vegeta. And these are moves that you get through doing their mentor system, which you can find in all of the different worlds that you can join in on. You go in, you talk to the mentor, you accept their challenge, and then you learn, spar twice, learn again, spar twice again. And you can do this whenever you want, however many times you want, until you stop learning skills from those mentors. All of the rush skills look so nice, Fierce Dragon included. And if you take a look at Big Bang Kamehameha, the effects are just amazing. They are like one-to-one with what you'd see in the actual show. It's so satisfying to watch. And I forgot to mention, this is just another skill that you can learn from TN very early on. You see I'm fighting my shadow. It's basically image training. You can, by pressing U, summon a version of yourself, which is, I believe, equal to you in stats. And then you can fight them to farm stats from it. You can do this in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber if you just walk out of the safe zone. And it is just within the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, there's 2 different ways that you can train alone. You don't have to do the minigame. You can instead do a PvP, or you could do PvE with your shadow. No matter what you do in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, it gives you great results. And you can almost never get bored of being in there. There's always something different you can do. It plays back into what I said about Final Stand Remastered. It's just a loop. It gets boring fast. And I forgot to mention this, but what I'm doing now is I'm fighting my shadow. This is a skill you can learn from TN very early on in the game, and it comes into play in the late game despite being something you learn so early. By pressing the U keybind, you summon a shadow equal to you in stats, which you can then fight and farm stats off of. It's so simple, so easy, and it's something different that you can do in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber at that, because you can walk out of the safe zone, summon your shadow, and fight it as if you were fighting another player, and it gives the same amount of stats as if you were fighting another player. So you could fight a player, do the minigame, or just fight your shadow, all giving great benefits. And the weight boosts from buying one of the weights translates to fighting your shadow. It's just, no matter what you do in Dragon Ball Final, there's always something else you could be doing. It just all looped, it ties back into what I said about Dragon Ball Final Stand. The remaster is just the same loop. It's boring, it gets old so fast. So that about sums up this small video on Dragon Ball Final in comparison to Final Stand Remastered. I don't want to hate on Final Stand Remastered too much, but the lead dev in charge, Snake Level 2, which I do not believe is the actual Snake World, so don't send him any hate. He has a huge ego, and any problems with the progression he just slabs onto you as a skill issue on your behalf. So, at least in my opinion, this is the superior game, based on everything that I have already mentioned. Check it out. Thank you for watching.